What's up, guys? It's your favorite trio, and we're back at you again with another episode of Teach Me Tuesday. Guys, we're excited to be here, excited to deliver some more information about our topic from last week. We're going to do a continuation this week. We're going to talk about how has working remotely impacted the real estate market. Today's episode, we're going to continue the discussion about remote work and the impact that it has made on the real estate market. We're going to focus mainly about the impact of housing affordability and the mortgage trends that we see today. So let's jump right into it. It's yours truly, Gavin Abraham, loan officer, all of South Carolina, Georgia, and oh boy, how about North Carolina? Um, so I'm excited. And my better half, how you doing, man?
I'm doing just lovely. So it's Sean Abraham, Summerville, South Carolina. I'm definitely happy to serve you guys, as Gavin mentioned, South Carolina, Georgia, and I'm 2 hours away from finishing my license in North Carolina. So we'll be soon serving all of the state of North Carolina also. So excited to be here. Mr. Berry.
Wilmot Berry with the Berry Group, brokered by EXP Realty. That's me. So let's go. Let's get right into
So
it, guys.
good.
Cool,
Good,
cool.
good, 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 good. I don't want us to run out of time this time. I think last week was so good. I felt like we hit so many great points on just remote work, things that we don't think about, but it truly has an impact on the industry that we both um, serve in, all three of us serve in, and that we, hold near and dear to our heart. So let's just jump right in just for the sake of time. So house prices, right? So when we think about remote work, we think about home prices. A lot of times we may or may not have realized that the impact of people now working from home a lot more and how that has driven up house prices, things that used to cost, 50 to maybe $100,000 less is now costing a lot more. And some of that has to do with just demand, their supply and demand. And so if people are not physically driving to a brick and mortar,
Mhm.
building, then they have, more of a more of a need for, a comfortable living space. So let's kind of talk about that. What have you guys been seeing lately in that space?
Um,
Absolutely. Like you just mentioned, and like a recap, people are venturing outwards. Not so clustered in the city per se, to be close to work,
Mm-hmm.
because hey, I don't have to travel to work. I can work commute. I can commute to work. No, I'm sorry, I can work remote. I'm sorry. Here we go. I can work remote. I don't have to worry about a commute. So hey, as long as I got internet, that's what they said. Wilmot, I gotta have internet. That's a big thing for me. So I gotta make sure, hey, they got high speed internet wherever they are,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can do whatever they need to do, whether it's, be able to be on that Zoom meeting, to be on those meetings, those conferences, those virtual conferences, to do other things, podcasting. Long as they have high speed internet, guys, it's like remote work is like the new norm. So that's why real estate in areas that didn't have high demand now has a higher demand, because some people say, hey, I wish I had land. Now I can buy land. So this is kind of the scenario we're in right now in this particular market. Yeah.
yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's think about, so we think about the demand that's coming here, which is causing the house prices, to kind of increase. But let's talk about another one. This one, I don't like it. I definitely see it, definitely here in our area in Charleston. We talk about it all the time. This is gentrification and displacement. Because prices are rising, sometimes from an economic standpoint,
Hmm.
people's income has not necessarily caught up or sped up to where the market is today for affordability, which is a huge, 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 huge thing. So you have a lot more newcomers coming in, to that side of town that was a little bit undesirable, but now is becoming
More
up and
desirable.
coming and desirable areas. So yeah, what do you think about that,
Yeah,
Gav?
I mean, so yeah, gentrification and displacement has definitely been a real thing here in the Charleston area. I know it's all over, the state and various other places, but specifically here in Charleston, um, we have North Charleston, Charleston.
Yeah,
some of
North
the
Charleston I mean, I know it happens downtown Charleston, but North Charleston for
yeah,
real,
but
like.
for certainly, yeah, North Charleston um, has definitely developed a lot. A lot of people were moving here, and they moved to North Charleston specifically for at that time. You know, the pricing was lower than going out to West Ashley or going into closer into Charleston. So North Charleston was now like a hub, and as people started moving here, coming in from out of state or wherever they're coming from, we had to meet the needs in the infrastructure of the amenities and the services that were being offered to
Mhm,
continue to grow these areas. And what it has done, it's kind of, as a result, long-term residents who were living there, especially renters, where they were renting at this, at low market value or whatever it may have been for so long. Now, all of a sudden, because of the growth in the new development, man, rent has to go up significantly,
mhm,
and it forces
mhm.
those out who were renting, um, and that's just the long term effect of what's been kind of happening with gentrification and displacement. But yeah, it's not slowing down. Definitely, more and more we're seeing where you know um, the areas are continually growing, and there are new amenities, there are new um, services that are being added in all different areas to be a benefit and a benefactor to the newcomers that are coming in.
Right, right, guys. You know, there's a good, a pro and a con to that. Unfortunately, of course, the pros are, hey, development. All right, the rise in prices of homes in the area, they begin to appreciate and value because of, hey, you might have a investor that comes in, buys some properties and starts to renovate them and force appreciation to the property, and then the area as a whole begins to develop, taxes start rising, and then as a byproduct of that, the people that were there for years, are kind of displaced or pushed, or kind of pushed out because of the high, the rise in maybe taxes and that might come to the area because of development. So
I have a
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have a question because this really made me think about something here, right?
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure you probably see it in your market just as much as we see it here in the Charleston market. Is a lot of times I know we talked about this, plenty of times, saying that real estate is a mindset, right? And what I've seen a lot of, and mostly the African American community, is a lot of African Americans don't want to stay in certain communities that they
Right.
deem to be undesirable. Excuse me. And so because of that, um, those areas are not, there's not money put towards those areas. So things are not getting fixed up and things of that sort. But you take an investor that comes in, renovates one or two properties. You may take someone that may be non-African American, willing to, because they see the potential of what it could, become in the future. And they
Mhm.
go and move in those areas. And then slowly but surely more comes and it only takes one or two to just kind of starts that trend. And before you know it, bigger businesses are coming or fancier restaurants are coming to these lower desirable areas because it's cheaper. They can buy
Right.
real estate very cheap before
Right.
the prices get very high. So, like, what would you recommend to your client, woman, as a realtor? Like when you're showing them houses, especially if their budget doesn't allow them to get, something at a higher price point, is there a way to, so I guess, convince them or try to let them see that what the potential of this could be? You know what I'm saying? Like versus like most people, oh yeah, I'm never staying in X area because that's just not. But who knows? This X area may become something great.
Well, you know what's so funny about that is because Orangeburg is going through uh, a state of development right now.
Mhm.
New businesses are coming in, like you said. They're improving the schools. New schools are being built as we speak. It's a lot of development coming, and they're going into these areas. And I say they. When I say they, I'm talking about the investors because they're the ones that's really like they got an eye. They've seen this before, right?
Mhm.
Like they've seen it's like, oh man. oh, I see what's about to happen. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy in the low areas, the low price areas. I'm gonna develop the area. If I can buy, I've seen investors say I'm gonna buy the block, right? I'm gonna buy a whole street if I can, and and I'm gonna make it better. So that's something I'm seeing. To be honest with you, if I can just be 100, like a lot of
Be
my
100. Be
clients,
100.
a lot of my property owners, the ones when I say property owners, the ones that actually want to live in the house, they not necessarily want to take that risk, right?
Mhm.
They're more risk adverse than the investor that's willing to take a chance on a neighborhood, right? Because the investor looks at it like, all right, if I buy XYZ property, if I buy one, two, three, I've seen a new build pop up here. I seen a new build pop up here. Hey, I'm gonna look at the comps. I'm gonna look at recent sales in the area. I'm willing to make that investment in this area. Your typical person that buys a house, they're not thinking like that. They're
Right.
thinking like, hey, I want a good neighborhood. I want it in the school district. I want XYZ. I don't care about what it could be. A lot of them don't not caring about what it could be. They're looking at what it is now.
Right.
You know, that's the mindset that I'm seeing from your
But
typical
that's
home.
a that's
Hmm.
such a good point, and maybe this is something we can talk about, or maybe even create something around this, because something that got my wheels turning when you said, that investor says, "I see what's happening," right? So, for the natural first-time home buyer, or that new time, that new buyer coming into, just the courage that I want to buy a house, like they're not thinking like somebody that's strategically trying to build wealth, bigger, faster, long term. So when they're looking at it, okay, either they sat in a planning meeting and saw that X is coming here, this company's coming here, or they see that a big builder developer, want to bid to do something. So maybe that's something we can maybe look into in the future to figure out how how do people do research on a market or an area to know, to kind of find these, they're not necessarily hidden gems, but they're gems that hasn't been publicized yet.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
areas that haven't been publicized yet.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where, as a first time home buyer or something, these areas aren't necessarily as desirable,
Hmm.
and just like when you go out, it's not much different. Anything you go out and buy for the first time or buy new, you kind of want the best quality. You want the best, you want the best your money can get you. Um, you don't, you may not, that first car that you bought, it wasn't the car that's just like, man, this car is gonna always get me from point A to point B. It was like, man, this car look cool.
Right,
This is gonna be,
right.
this is, man, I did it. I brought my first car, and I like it. I love the way the sound system sounds, whatever it is, and that's how people
Hmm.
look at buying a home. They're like,
Yeah.
man, it's pretty.
S- So let me give those for the property, the people that want to buy a house at some point, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you a tip on like, all right. Now, let me say this. All right, let me say this. We're looking at this from a different lens,
Right.
okay? Get what you want now. I mean, I'm not telling you,
Absolutely.
hey, now, go in down the street where they selling some stuff, and buy you a house. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, hey, why not look in the best neighborhoods, but find the worst house in the best neighborhoods? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, look at it from a mindset of I'm an investor. I'm an investor. I really am. I'm gonna purchase this property. I'm gonna improve it over time, right?
Mhm.
And guess what? Just like the city is gonna develop, guess what? My property is gonna appreciate as well.
That's good.
So there's a compromise there, just so they don't feel like, man, they can't go outside and walk the dog,
Correct. They
they
don't feel safe. Yeah.
they can't
Yeah.
they can't hop on the easy go and go down the street. You know what I'm saying? They can't do that.
Easy
I
go.
I like to walk in my neighborhood. I like to be able to drive, walk down the street with my dog, and not be scared of the pit bull pop out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm just gonna be 100. Get what you want, but also understand that you can have an investor mindset as well when you buy your home.
There
So
you go.
hope that helps.
That's really good. I swear this 15 minutes go by so quick. Oh my goodness. All right. So I guess we have to do a part 3. So part 3 of this is definitely going to touch on, because we didn't get to talk about this last time, and apparently we didn't get to talk about it this time neither. But we really want to give you guys some information regarding the mortgage side of remote work, right? We focused very heavily and gave some really, really good insight on the real estate industry and what it has done. But something to think about on the remote side for mortgage is when it comes to income verification, whether you have a contract to work a certain period of time, how does that affect your hours, things like that, what lenders have to look for, what documentation you may need when you're remote. We have so much more to discuss. So you guys will definitely have to tune in next week. I don't know. We'll be doing next week. I know it's Thanksgiving. Maybe next week. Yeah, we'll try to get it in before Thanksgiving. So maybe next week, so we can pick up on that, because we feel like this will be some really good information for you guys for next week.
Right. Shout out to Claflin University. It's their homecoming this week. So definitely, if you're in the area, you want to, Claflin has some festivities. Find out what those festivities are. Support. Shout out to Claflin.
Pull up.
Pull up.
Yes. Happy homecoming, Claflin.
Happy homecoming.
All right, guys. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.